Hey everybody, it's Anthrod and welcome back to Salting the Earth. Right then, last we left off, the weird dreams had returned. So, on to this, I guess. A smile full of life. That is what I remember the most about Miranda back when she was a young child. The photos in my hands can only capture half of her cuteness, a third of her innocence, a tenth of her optimism. The next photo jogs another memory. Everyone told her that she was my spitting image, and I believed them. Her tall nose, her auburn hair, and the two faint dimples when she adorns her iconic smile. It was like looking into a mirror and finding hope staring back at you, a corporeal form in the a corporeal hope in the form of a younger version of yourself. Whenever she came back home, she would knock on the door 5 times. Our secret door knock. Dop, dop, dop. I only realized it had been raining when the sky grows darker and the water droplets fall heavier on the only window in my room. Dop, dop. I both love and hate the rain. I love the way the rainwater blurs the depressing view outside my window. It constantly changes and shapes itself, twisting and bending the lifeless plastic vines, the artificial trees, and synthetic grass. Every second is a new surrealist scene to appreciate. Yet I hate the way the rainwater blurs my only escape outside this dull egg-white jail. Dop, 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 dop. I turn toward the door. It's not the rain that's making this sound. It's hope beyond the door, in the form of 5 knocks on the door. Okay. She stirs. Her compressing joints make cracking sounds as she does her morning stretch routine. Before I can think of giving her the space she needs, her large hand holds me by my shoulder and coaxes me back into a familiar warmth. Oh, no, you go nowhere. Stay. You are small and warm, and I am warmer. The tips of our digits touch, and we slide our fingers between one another into an uneven lace. Did you sleep okay? Don't rev your motorcycle. That's not what a sounds like. She hums against the top of my head. Fuck, I'm all flabbergasted. Her fingers drum on the skin on my shoulder. Once again, I've fallen asleep by her side. Yes, but these inconsiderate cunts. I would say, but that's not how's that a bad thing. But obviously, you're getting conflictions. So, ugh. The first time I suggested it, Durong grew without asking any questions. Even then, I could see through her thinly veiled apprehension and her timid pause. She tensed up when I set my pillow next to her. She had an inquisitive yet silent gaze when our eyes met in the dark that night. To my surprise, each night Durong's touches grew bolder and more eager. She's acclimating to the new situation. Yes, I mean, makes sense. Your fingers are almost twice my size. They are. Durong lazily sighs. Everything about Durong dwarfs my being. From her physique, her maturity, and her sense of calmness to her display of kindness and honesty to a fault. She even excels at her job. What are you thinking about? Why, how much of a better person you are than me. My whole body tenses up when Durong breaks the silence. She must have sensed me mentally pulling away in her arms. Nothing. I'm just enjoying this. How long have I stayed pressed into her? My body resigned to the tender strokes of her fingers. I ignore the heated eyes on me, knowing it to be the gaze that is too heavy for me to hold. The demon clock rings. It needs souls! In its twisted shape. Durong's patched up alarm announced itself with a I ascend. The light has shone us down upon me. Through the clouds, the night sky, and the stars. And the mini anime figurines. This part of the song is, I love it so much. It's not just because it's good, but because it's just such a, It was such an unexpected twist, and even now that I know it's gonna happen, I'm still just never ready for it. Durong's patched up alarm announced itself with a thunderous roar. And that is our cue. It's Alexa from hell. Doesn't answer questions, just screams at you. Another minute. Come on, we can't be lazy. I barely caught that. Those little pauses every now and then. Durong lets out a whimper as I detach myself from our entangled bodies. Oh, Durong's so sweet. Kaya's been eyeing me like a hawk as soon as I touch the ground. Yeah, she doesn't want you hurting her friend. Like, I'm conflicted now. It's... Rue, I like Rue as a character. She's a lot of fun, and she's... I don't think she's a bad person. I just think that maybe... Okay, I don't want... I'm not gonna... But yeah, this is like... It seems like there may be trouble ahead. Which, yeah, you know, conflict and all, but... then to be happy. To be fair, Korea did the same thing when I first arrived. Thankfully, all the gawking had ceased. Probably helped that she got to stare at me all day long while we were working together. Yeah, okay. Wording was a bit... Nah. Even Durong had the courtesy to make her staring more subtle. Mask. Is that a mole? Kaya points her fingers right up by my brows. My forehead? It's my power button. I love her. Oh, God. She's just so snarky. Okay, that's not quite snark. She's just sarcastic in general. She can be snarky, but like... I love her personality. I only press it when I go to sleep. Beep. An audible gasp lets out from behind Kai's mask. Kai makes it too easy sometimes. Can I press it then? In a surprise twist, Kai reaches out for me. I dodge backward and move away from her hand. Of course not. You might damage the circuitry. As I predicted, she goes for their attempt to... There's a T in there, dipshit. I duck away and slip away from her. Why do you keep saying these things? You must want me to press it, don't you? Durong, stop her! I run behind Durong and put her large and very muscly body between Kai and me. In an unexpected twist, Durong gives me an understanding nod. Facing my giant bodyguard, Kai's feet cautiously slow to a halt. Kai-yang, it's not nice to press another person's button. I love it. It's too good. The interactions in this game are great. It's so written. Poor Kai couldn't look more dumbfounded. She wasn't wearing a mask. Her lower jaw would have dropped low enough to fit a soft drink can. Now you're both messing with me. Kai hisses. She tries to... I thought she was allergic to cats. She tries to reach around Durong, but her efforts remain futile. Durong's lethal limbs effortlessly repel Kai's grip. Children, please. Yes, mother. Query finally gets involved, just coming out of the bathroom. Without much sleep last night, she's a bit grumpier than usual. Our room is a full house at last. Come to think of it, it was a little funny Kai came back the night someone visited the woman of my dream. Huh. Ooh. These dreams, man. Yes, it is a mole. Or is it? Are you gonna fuck with the reader like... Okay. Fair play, bitch. My mind keeps drifting back to the thought of my lunch sitting in the fridge. Porterhouse, fresh from the town's butcher, tender and full of flavor, sweeter the closer it gets to the bone. The thought of my juicy pizza steak bolts me out of my mind once Query's head pops on top of my shoulder from behind me. Oh, hey. Query comes to me as she after she's finished inspecting the work of other cooks. I prefer Query picking up my shoulder rather than Edda's apathetic eyes. She feels nice pressing up against my back just to see the full view of my work. She shakes her head and her curious eyes turn grim. Too thin. We want crunch. A smile blooms while a knife splits the carrots into bigger slices. The creativity behind our lunch is commendable. With the same ingredients, we can make different dishes every meal. Good. Query is unperturbed as if nothing happened last night. It was twice this week that we woke up to her thrashing and crying. By the time we shook her awake, her bed was drenched with sweat and tears. Oh. Rue's salmon pie was nice. Keep it up. I smiled back at her. For our fortnightly challenge, I baked a salmon pie and served it in pineapple sauce. Ooh. I didn't win, but everyone's feedback was encouraging. That does sound interesting, though. I'm a huge fan of salmon, so like that. Ooh, I'm just imagining how that might work. Also, pie? Like, what kind of pie? That's actually a very broad term, really. Edda didn't like my pie crust. Figures. Or wait, no, I'm thinking of... no, okay, yeah, you can think of pies in several ways. I was, for some reason, thinking of pudding, I guess. But whatever. Edda didn't like my pie crust. Figures. Her radiance is hard to please. I sigh when Query leaves my station. Kinda had to hold her until she fell asleep again. It wasn't the case before. I wonder what has changed. Hey Rue, they just delivered your dried fruits. Oh, just in time. My dried fruit cocktail might come in handy. They say this concoction relieves stress and anxiety and also reduces insomnia. Is it the alcohol? Do I owe you anything? Why was that so hard to say? Yes, actually. They are a bit more expensive than we thought. My heart jumps out of my throat when she answered the receipt. It's nearly twice what I paid back home. Right. I'll get you the money at lunch. It's better be worth it. Are you baking a cake? Edda's soft voice comes from behind me, cold as ice. The staff's expression calmly turns from a grimace to an awkward smile. She nods at me and scurries away as Edda approaches. She maintains a professional distance between us. Her pretty face adorns the usual smile. From an outsider's perspective, it must look like she's giving me a lesson instead of us having a conversation. Don't worry, something I can put together in a small kitchen. Carry on. Okay. I half expected Edda to disapprove, but a lot of cooks told me they have used a kitchen delivery service to save a trip to town. As long as her eminence, I was halfway to saying her M&Ms, and oh my god, I would have probably had to throw myself out into the nearest river. The allure of breathing in fresh air after a long period in the basement doesn't go past me. I could use the time away from the fiery hot kitchen myself, if I'm being honest. Yet all that fur you've got probably doesn't make that at all comfortable. You know, probably just bottles in extra heat. That's why I didn't mind being asked to fetch him gone before our lunch began. Oh, rooftop. Nice. Some seats, little chair, plant, awning. Or overhang? I think it's just overhang. I think this would be an awning, right? Whatever. Doesn't take long for the elevator to reach top of the building. The final step of stairs take me out into the sunlit patio. Nimgon is zooming over the balcony with her back to me. The wind from the sea flies ashen smoke toward the inner land. Okay. Nimgon? Oh! Nimgon hastily screws a dark cigar to the nearby ashtray. You didn't have to put it away. Why are you here alone? Morak doesn't like the smell. I can attest to that. Breathing in the tar chars my throat as if I've gone without water for a day or so. Although I'm not sure even a nymph could smell the smoke through Nimgon's glass aquarium. Perhaps Nimgon and the merfolk share the places in the basement where they could breathe the same air. By the way, I want to say I'm happy for you. Our shells can be tough to crack. Heard you and Durong hang out often these days. Is it this simple? We like each other, and therefore Durong and I are together forever and ever until the end. Nimgon's knowing gaze drills into me, and instead of feeling exposed, my ears perk up for whatever she has to say next. You have some preservation. Did you mean reservations? I wish I could be 100% sure it won't end badly. Isn't that for most relationships generally? The tides of fate can be really unexpected, you know? And I say that by just meaning chance, not like... whatever. It was this way of thinking that left me barren all those previous years. barren in what way are we talking here? Figuratively, literally, huh? Huh. If you go into something and expect the end, you'll never be happy. You're a good woman, Rue. Maybe she can help you find the person you couldn't find in yourself. Huh? There's a me I can't find by myself? Yeah, honestly, that can happen in a way, you know? Sometimes it can take the influence of someone else or something else to really help, I don't know, bring about a realization that maybe you would have had a harder time seeing on your own. As usual, I worded it very poorly, but yeah, there's my 2 cents. Moving on. You also have the advantage of being a nymph. Eh? I can't influence people's attitude toward me, that's what you meant. Right. I meant to say that, at the least, sex won't get stale. The potency of our pheromone is greatly exaggerated in the media. Well, there's evidence that links exposure to nymph pheromones and the increase in Oregon's low sex drive. It only works with frequent physical contact. Anyway, thank you for coming to get me. Every so often, Nimgon would be here by herself before lunchtime. I suspect she wants personal time with the kitchen staff who come for her. You know, they have proof that smoking's not good for you. Thank you for your concern, Rue. You're right. I should know better. I used to be a doctor, after all. Of medicine? Yes. How did you, rise to power? Rise to power? That's a funny way to put it. Did you jump at the flood in 1977, year before the big war? Our hospital was the flooded zone near Finn. Saying we were short on staff was an understatement. For every one person who recovered enough to leave, another 5 were hospitalized. The majority weren't happy with the ineffective senior managers, especially after we found out rich folk paid them for preferential treatment. I had no choice but to step in, and it kinda stuck. Well, you definitely have a knack for it. I don't think it's something I can do. I think not only for myself, but for the collective good. Right. Nimgon's smile turns mellow. Her eye gazes far beyond the me who stands before her. Leading is like flying an aircraft. You get a better view, but once you fly too high, the people on the ground are no longer visible. It's a fine line to tread. Being too involved, and you compromise your personal and professional life. To detach a leader, and you might as well not have one. Or you'll end up with a leader who's basically a tyrant. Lose sight of the little people or just don't care about them and, you know, oh, there's so many and they're so small. Squish. That kind of thing. That's the third option, and it's much darker, though. So, of course, I'm the one who brought it up, because, for fuck's sake, why this pessimistic Porterhouse and Little Salmon. Hey, Root. Durong salutes when my gaze catches hers. She strides over the usual business-like gait. I'm going to end this episode here, actually. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Next time, we'll continue on with our little chat, I guess, or whatever this is going to turn out to be. So, yeah. See you then.